Well, hey guys, welcome to week 4 devotion. I want to encourage you to read Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 5 this week. The parable for this week talks about judging others while ignoring our own sins. Jesus uses the illustration of the splinter in one's eye while ignoring the beam of wood in your own eye. The splinter and the beam represent sin. Now, sin is anything we say or do that is contrary or goes against God's law. Sin is all that junk in our lives that displeases God. Sin is areas of disobedience to God. See, God being perfect and holy has the right to judge our sins and declare us condemned. That means separated from Him because of our sin. We are not holy, and nor are we perfect. Romans 3:23 says that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And therefore, we as sinners, we don't have the right to judge the sins of other people. But we are always tempted to do so because it's our human nature to quickly point out the faults or the sins of others to keep people from seeing the sin in our own lives. Or maybe more importantly, we point out the sins of others as worse than our own sin to justify our sinful behavior. I mean, let's be honest. Have you ever said or thought these words? Well, at least I'm not as bad as that person, or at least I haven't done what they've done. See, this is what Jesus is talking about in this parable. We must not focus on the sins of others. We must realize, admit, and confess the sin in our own lives and our disobedience to a holy and righteous God in order for God to forgive us of our sins and cleanse us of all unrighteousness. See, when we do this, we are then more able to clearly help others who need forgiveness of God as well. Not out of condemnation, but out of love, grace, and mercy, wanting others to know what Jesus has done for them so that they can also be forgiven and spend eternity with God. Now, here's some possible questions to ask your team this week in the 4 through 7-year-old divisions. Ask them, have you ever sinned? Now, a lot of them probably say, oh, no, I haven't. But ask these questions. Have you ever told a lie? Have you ever disobeyed your parents? God calls these things sin. Instead of making fun of somebody because of what they say or do, how can you help them know Jesus and know what Jesus has done for them? In the 8 through 11-year-old divisions, here's some questions. Have you ever judged someone? Has someone ever judged you before? Ask, why do you judge other people? Does knowing everyone that has sinned change how you view others, knowing that you yourself have sinned as well? And in the 12 through 14-year-old divisions, here's some questions. Do you view others' sins as worse than your sin? Ask them why or why not. Do you think that we believe we justify our sins when we condemn others? Make sure after every practice or during your devotion you pray with the team. Make sure you try to include parents as much as possible in your devotion time and your prayer time. We want this to be available for everybody. And so I want you to remember, I know you probably already do, that Easter is coming this Sunday. Encourage everyone on your team to attend their church or a church. And if you don't have a church home, I want to invite you personally to be my guest at First Baptist Church, Grove City, this Easter Sunday, April 9th, at the 10:45 service in our West Wing Auditorium. As together, we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Have an awesome week, coaches.